Edward Berger's 2024 drama Conclave follows the College of Cardinals as they attempt to elect the next pope. The story is primarily told through the perspective of the college's dean, Cardinal Thomas Lawrence, as he slowly uncovers scandals that could alter the outcome of the college's votes, but he is unsure of how much he can reveal, since the group is meant to be sequestered from outside information. Conclave's cast, led by Ralph Fiennes as Lawrence, all give impressive performances, so it is unsurprising that many have received high praise. In fact, Conclave has been nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Actor for Fiennes and Best Supporting Actress for Isabella Rossellini, along with a fitting Best Picture nomination. What makes the film so gripping is the constant unease of each of the group's members, especially when secrets are revealed or alliances shift. While the next pope is finally chosen in Conclave's ending, the process is certainly not without its drama, especially that of John Lithgow's Cardinal Tremblay, who is revealed to have taken several inappropriate actions to increase his chance of becoming the next pope. Cardinal Tremblay was secretly dismissed by the former pope for gross misconduct. After the pope's unexpected death, only one person knew of Tremblay's firing. What makes Conclave so great is how well the movie creates tension as the events of the conclave unfold. At the beginning of the film, there are several clear choices for the next pope, namely Cardinals Bellini, Adeyemi, Tremblay, and Tedesco, with a few other individuals picking up a minor number of votes. While Cardinal Lawrence has a clear preference for Bellini because of his more liberal views, Bellini struggles to maintain the support of many of the cardinals. Instead, Cardinal Tremblay begins to get more votes, but Lawrence hears whispers that Tremblay was dismissed shortly before the pope's death. Early in the film, Janusz Wozniak, the late pope's friend and the prefect of the papal household, reveals to Lawrence that shortly before the pope died, he asked Tremblay to resign after finding out something that Tremblay had done, though what exactly Tremblay did is initially unclear. Because the group is supposed to be sequestered, Lawrence is uneasy about learning information that could change people's votes, but ultimately accepts that this information could be important in making an informed decision. Understandably, Lawrence's first action is to address Tremblay directly about his meeting with the former pope to hear his point of view, but Tremblay denies that the pope asked for his resignation and says that it was just a normal conversation. The denial complicates Lawrence's situation, as Wozniak states that Tremblay had lost the pope's support, but Tremblay denies any knowledge of his firing, though neither yet has confirmation of their claims. Ultimately, it is later revealed that Tremblay lied to Lawrence and was, in fact, dismissed after the pope learned of his indiscretions. Tremblay was behind the non-transfer to hurt Adeyemi's candidacy. Tremblay was hoping to reveal the secret to end Adeyemi's support. One of the major problems that Cardinal Lawrence learns about when looking into Cardinal Tremblay is that he was secretly behind the events that led to Cardinal Adeyemi's downfall. Prior to the conclave convening, Tremblay had arranged for a young nun named Sister Shinumi to be transferred to the Vatican from Nigeria. While he claims that this was on the instructions of the former pope so the information cannot be verified, Lawrence suspects he had other motives far from following the pope's instructions. Tremblay was actually thinking ahead as to how he would be able to knock out his competition when the time came. While the men are eating lunch in the cafeteria, Sister Shinumi encounters Cardinal Adeyemi and attempts to talk to him. However, he ignores her, and her loud reaction draws the attention of the other members of the College of Cardinals. While none of the other cardinals know exactly what occurred between Sister Shinumi and Adeyemi, the confrontation is enough to ruin his chances at becoming the next pope. However, that is not the end of Adeyemi's story, as Lawrence seeks him out later to discuss what happened after hearing Sister Shinumi's confession. Adeyemi reveals that many years ago he had a relationship with Shinumi that resulted in her giving birth to a son. While Cardinal Lawrence listens to his story and is kind to him, Lawrence also informs Adeyemi that he will no longer become pope as the other men will be too suspicious to vote for him. Lawrence discovers Tremblay was paying other cardinals for votes. Lawrence finds documents hidden by the previous pope. After eventually being overcome by all the conflicting information about Tremblay and wanting to ensure that he does not become the next pope, Lawrence breaks the seal on the previous pope's residence door and enters his room. Lawrence begins looking around the late pope's room and eventually comes across a secret stash of papers hidden in the headboard of the pope's bed which show that the pope had been keeping tabs on many of the people in his circle. More specifically, the papers finally provide proof that Tremblay was indeed fired by the previous pope due to committing simony. This means that Cardinal Tremblay had been paying other church members to support his bid to become the next pope. The papers expose Tremblay's corruption, and importantly, they also show who he paid to vote for him, allowing Lawrence to know exactly who was involved. While this information is important in removing him from the running to be the pope, Lawrence is still unsure of the best way to proceed since it would disrupt their seclusion. The proof of Tremblay's actions end his pope candidacy. By the end of the film, his reputation is ruined. Cardinal Lawrence decides that the right thing to do is to expose Cardinal Tremblay for his actions, and he does just that the next day. While the men are gathered in the cafeteria, Lawrence shows them copies of the Pope's papers, which prove that Tremblay was paying other members of the group to vote for him. This movie immediately removes Tremblay from the running and positions Lawrence as the main competition against Tedesco to become the next pope. However, an explosion in Vatican City and a rousing speech by the newcomer, Cardinal Benitez, make him the new frontrunner. In their next vote, Cardinal Benitez garners enough votes to win, and the cardinals send out the white smoke to inform the world. While Conclave still has one shocking twist in store for audiences, it is very clear that Cardinal Benitez is the perfect choice to be the next pope because of his more modern and nuanced approach to problems. By this point, Tremblay has disappeared from the picture entirely, as the cardinals are more focused on the positive decision that has been made, proving that Lawrence was right to expose him for Conclave to get its hopeful ending.